we're going to start off this bonus episode, as I think we will try to continue to do, by talking about some movies we've seen recently, preferably on disc. And Evan has a follow-up to the last bonus episode because he has actually fucking watched Repo Man.
Yes.
Goddamn poser. So tell us about Repo Man.
Right. So I just watched it, I think, about like a week ago. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's pretty batshit insane. It has one of the most strangest tones I've seen in a movie in quite a while. It's distinctly punk, and I really like that about it. There's lots of great one-liners and characters. And I'm just flipping through the box right now.
Ordinary fucking people.
Ordinary fucking people. I hate them.
Yeah, there's so many good lines from this film.
Wow, that was intense.
Repo Man's always intense.
And it's legitimately really funny. And I'm not. It takes a lot for my funny bone to elicit a reaction in that sense from me, but it definitely did that. But yeah, the box art's absolutely beautiful. It just has these great illustrations of just, different scenes and different facets of the movie and characters. And it has this little flip booklet that's included that kind of just has lots of bonus content. It's got it's got a lot of insight to the making of the film, and there's like a little excerpt from the director, Alex Cox, and specifically there's a page I'm looking at right now that's about this specific Criterion transfer, which is cool.
Is it a 4K scan or a 2K?
Yeah, I'll read a little excerpt from it. So Repo Man is presented in the director's preferred aspect ratio of 1.78 to 1. On standard 4x3 televisions, the image will appear letterboxed. On widescreen televisions, the image should fill the screen.
That's interesting. That means it was released long enough ago that they still had to acknowledge people with standard definition televisions.
Yeah, exactly. And it says it's approved by director Alex Cox. This new digital transfer was created in 2K resolution, so it's unfortunately not a 4K, but it still looks
that's good,
pretty damn good.
I mean, as long as it's higher than HD and they have something to crunch down, it usually looks really tight. A bunch of the Criterions that I just got are 2K scans, and they look phenomenal. They always do a great job.
Anything else? Thousands of instances of dirt, debris, scratches, splices, and wraps were manually removed during using MTI's DRS, while Image Systems Phoenix was used for small dirt, grain, noise reduction, flicker, and jitter. So yeah, they kind of cleaned it up. That's really cool. Soundtrack was remastered. So this is just a really lovely purchase. I got it half off from Criterion for their big sale, as I think Aaron mentioned he got that Godzilla box set. It was a whim because I'd never seen it before, but I was wholeheartedly recommended, had it recommended by a lot of people who I trust. So I was very, very pleased with that purchase in the movie. It was a lot of fun. I don't know. Aaron watched it with me. I don't know if you have anything to say about it.
It's good to have a really good transfer of that movie because I really enjoy its cinematographer, who also shot Paris, Texas.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of fluorescent lighting and stuff in a way that I think looks really good. He's
That's
one of
another
my
great Criterion transfer.
Yeah. No, he's one of my preferred low budget cinematographers. I mean, he's done other stuff, but he's able to pull a lot from stuff that looks like it was not made for a lot. So I'm glad that his work was able to be shown in this level of quality and cleaned up so that it can, look how it was supposed to look when it was shot.
It's shot wonderfully. It looks great. You can really tell his visual style is super distinct.
It's nice and gritty. Well, Aaron, keep the ball rolling and tell us about your movie spotlight of the week, sir.
Oh, yes. You see, last week I talked about my Godzilla box set I got through the Criterion collection. And like I said then, still gorgeous, still a beautifully put together box set, still weirdly shaped and hard to put on a shelf. But I actually decided to watch a film from that collection.
Criterions are for putting on your shelf and pretending to be artsy, Aaron.
Yeah, no,
Get a fucking grip.
They are used only to pick up girls when you throw little parties at your apartment, and you can go,
girls.
"Hey, look at the collection I have over there of Criterion."
Yeah,
Then that gets them every single
Coochie,
time.
please. The C on the Criterion cover actually stands for coochie.
Yeah, and it's always in high def. Now, I watched Godzilla vs. Megalon.
Zootopia will strike back. For today, the Earthmen now will have to take their own medicine. That's right. For I will unleash Megalon to protect our land, our underwater world.
Which is considered to be one of the lesser movies in the Godzilla pantheon, but I do think it's super fun. It's so goofy and stupid, and it just, ever since I was a kid, I've always loved the last, 20 minutes of the movie when it just becomes a straight pro wrestling tag team match with, everything that would entail, including Godzilla running down during a 2-on-1 beatdown to even the odds. Yeah, no, it's just a very fun, goofy movie. It's flawed. A lot of actions don't make sense. It's edited. Certain scenes are edited in a way where you can't really tell what's going on. But I had a lot of fun rewatching it. It was also wild to look at it because I realized that I had not seen that film since I rented a VHS from the library when I was a child.
Wow, that's a really big upgrade.
Oh, yeah. No, that film did not look how I remembered at all. Moving it up to a 1080p Blu-ray really changed that movie's aesthetic for me in my head. It's very fun. A pretty good, transfer. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's good. And
well, yeah. Those are just from the Toho's remasters from earlier in the 2010s that never hit America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there have been better looking remasters, not of Godzilla films, but but since that release. But it's still good to see these in a higher quality.
Yeah,
and
they don't do a lot of color correcting, which is, it's a choice, and I can kind of appreciate that it kind of maintains a film kind of look to it and isn't super cleaned up.
Mm-hmm. No, I can respect that. I think the movie actually looks... it has some really fun looking set pieces and effects, and there's a few great shots. There's a shot of just Megalon standing where the camera lowers and shows how imposing he is during the final encounter. That I was really impressed by, and I definitely saw when I was a kid on a pan and scan VHS or whatever, and probably did not have the same effect.
Oh yeah, in full anamorphic.
Oh yeah,
that's very different.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that I can see now that while the film has its flaws, when I was a kid, it was one where I went, "Where's Godzilla?" for 80 minutes, and then it was "Oh, there he is. Now I'm happy" for the last 15. But there's joys to be had before that.
So there's a lot.
What are the Cetopians? Is that who controls Megalon?
Oh yeah, this weird underground cult. Who controls his whim.
He's a bug, but they're underwater people, so it's a water bug. Megalon's I don't love him as a kaiju, but damn is he interesting.
I also when the Cetopians go, "Hey, we're gonna call the Gigan people on the phone and see if they can bring him in for this one."
Contact Star Hunter Universe M. Say we need Gigan's help immediately. Right. Additionally, notify our people on Easter Island.
Yeah, we just have a direct line to the Gigan planet people.
Yeah, they just call them up and are like, "Hey, can we use your good boy?" And they're like, "Yeah, dude." And they send them out.
Finna tag team?
Fun to have a tag team match for this main event.
I also really just enjoyed the human elements of that one more so than I was anticipating to, because usually, you know, they're not always amazing. But like, yeah, just like this the scientist dad and his little kid and his friend who created, you know, Jet Jaguar. And it has a lot of just fun, like James Bond-esque gadgetry that I had a really good time with.
Yeah, I don't remember the details of the plot. That are like that chain of movies, like a few is very pulling from James Bond.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was just very, very fun.
Yeah.
I get that one confused with versus Mechagodzilla, I think, because they both have tag teams and similar human plots.
That final battle, the tag teams, is absolutely amazing. And I always just want to say it's the Jet Jaguar movie, even though he's not in the title.
Well, yeah, it was originally intended to be a Jet Jaguar movie at some point in development, because it was originally like they had like a contest to like for kids to turn in a design or something, and like the version of Jet Jaguar that's used looks nothing like the drawing of him.
Good.
Like they just kind of went, oh, what if he was Ultraman?
Yeah, what if he was a Power Ranger or something?
But yeah,
well, it was so historically at the time, Godzilla was kind of waning in popularity because Ultraman was so big and he was on free television. So Toho put out that monster making thing in hopes that they could nab some new character that would be as popular with everyone as Ultraman, and so they just basically made Ultraman.
Yeah. Yeah, they took a design a kid made and merged it with Ultraman to make the most like popular thing in their minds possible, and then they chickened out at the last minute and went, no, we gotta put Godzilla in this and make him the title character. Nobody wants to see this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hey, I want to see Jet Jaguar.
So, fuck you.
He's coming back. He's in the new Godzilla anime that's coming out soon.
Yeah, I am interested to see that, but I don't have very high hopes at all.
I believe it's 2D animated besides the kaijus. I've seen some stuff that pulls it off, like the SSS Gridman adaptation that Studio Trigger made. That does the 2D people and CG monsters thing. Actually comes off really well. I really like that show, based on the Tokakatsu show from the 90s.
But since you two talked about the Criterions, I'll talk about my 3 films of Luis Buñuel, who I still don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. But as we said in the main episode, I was making fun of how French movies don't make any fucking sense, and those are French movies that don't make any fucking sense. But it's intentional. In film school, we watched Un Chien Andalou. I'm probably butchering that too, though. As everyone knows, the woman getting her eye slit with a razor.
Oh, right.
Film, and that's like one of my favorite films, short or not. And that was a collaboration with Buñuel and Dali. So I was very interested to check out these movies. So the first one is The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, and I really like that one. It's a nice examination of, class in France, and they're all 3 of them kind of have that through line with them. The next one is Phantom of Liberty, which I didn't like as much. So the concept behind it, and then one of the bonus features on the Criterion, is that the screenwriter was like, Buñuel told me he wants a movie where each scene is completely disconnected, and just at the point where you're interested enough that you want to see where it goes, it switches to another story.
Oh.
That
sounds kind of annoying.
Oh, just blue balling you the whole time? I mean,
yeah, the whole movie's blue balling, and it has the hit miss ratio is kind of all over the place. Some because the bits that you still make it in are kind of funny. There's there's a segment where there's a police academy, and all of the adult police students are acting like children, and on the board, the sergeant is a cuck. And that was funny. And they all get called away so that there's only 2 of them left. And then the principal comes in to scold them, but it's just 2 guys that didn't do anything. It's really weird. It's French. I mean, the Buñuel is Spanish, but he did a lot of his work in France. But the real centerpiece of the trilogy in my mind was that Obscure Object of Desire, which is it's an adaptation of a book that there's like an earlier adaptation, but it's about it's a rich guy who falls in love with a young girl who's poor, and he's just absolutely taken by her and fascinated, and he'll do anything to be with her. But it's just the movie it's very effective. It just keeps going. It's a will they, won't they thing just over and over again. It's like every time you think she's gonna like go for it and have sex with him, because that's the whole struggle, is like they're dating and they make out and everything, but he just wants to bone. But she keeps being like, oh, tonight, and then for one reason or another she'll say no. And it just keeps going like that throughout the whole movie, which, I mean, kind of sounds like Phantom of Liberty, and then it's just kind of might be unsatisfying, but it really pulls you through, and the performances are really great. The girl Conchita is played by 2 women, just to be weird. Doesn't really factor in at all, but they do great jobs. The main guy, who is also in Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, I really loved him in that, so I was really excited to find that he was in that one. I just really heavily recommend to check out that Obscure Object of Desire. It has the weird French je ne sais quoi, but it's also a very compelling story, and then Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie is also a good watch. So that's my report on those.
Okay. I would like to tie this back very quickly to Dread. You see, many years ago, the PlayStation Store was selling Dread for like an incredibly low amount of money for the new UHD whatever version. So I used, whatever, $4 or $5, bought it digitally. And have been using, that's like the only film I ever bought with that storefront. And the only thing I want to mention it for is that they are closing down the ability to buy movies on PlayStation now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Why was that ever an option, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who used that?
Yeah, exactly. No, I just want to talk about it because we always talk about, like, the overabundance of digital platforms and streaming, whatever.
And shutting down and taking away your shit.
Yes. So it's just really funny because it's like, that was the only thing I ever picked up with that in my entire life. But yeah, that storefront is shutting down. Apparently, PlayStation is trying to make it so that you get to keep your stuff.
Yeah, wait, I was going to say, how do you just lose the things you paid for? That's BS.
Yeah,
they just do that. That's it. When you buy something, you have to hit the accept terms and conditions,
right?
And that's all in the fine details.
Of course, it is.
Apple and other companies like that have just taken stuff from people. PlayStation says they're going to try to keep it so that if you bought something, it's still there, but everyone kind of eventually dumps that. But it does make you wonder, like, because people might not remember this, but like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, I think around the time the PS4 came out, PlayStation tried to get into content creation for streaming. If you had PlayStation Plus, there was a TV show adaptation of the comic book Powers you could watch, only if you had PlayStation Plus. And Xbox was making a Halo show to exist for the same reason that never came out.
And now it's going to be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Now it's going to a different service that'll die. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting because, 6 or 7 years ago, everyone tries to get on the content creation game, even though, there's no reason for PlayStation to sell you movies. They have Vudu app on the service. They have Amazon Prime on the PlayStation. Yeah. You don't need it.
It could have been rolled into like Crackle or something, just add like a rental to Sony's other thing, but they made it specifically their video game brand had a rental platform.
Yeah, and they tried to make content for it to support it, and then, all these years later, they ran the 1 or 2 shows they made. No one watched them. I watched like the first episode of Powers. got canceled, and then the service just kind of floated on for years and years, and then now it's just gained the axe because they realized that that thing was never going to make money, and they might as well cut their losses now before they lose more, just keeping this on their storefront.
All those years I spent looking at it and being like, should I check this out? And no, the answer was always no.
The answer was no.
A tale as old as time. Companies thinking they need a streaming platform and then closing inevitably when it doesn't work out.
A tale as old as time. A corporation needs a dime. Shitty streaming platforms. Movies you don't want to watch. Suck my dick streaming. Okay.
Very good.